Here at HOFM, and Chris is operating the camera. I'm going to give you a bit of a look through the radio station, give you some sort of an idea how one operates. Follow me. Okay, come through the door here, and we're into the foyer. Okay, we're now in the foyer of the radio station. This is the first place that anybody comes into when they come into HOFM. This is the first place they will see. Behind the reception desk over here is the lovely Rachel. Say hello, Rachel. Rachel is pretty much the start of the radio station. She's the one that you'll encounter first when you come in here. She'll sort of put you straight, let you know what's going on. She also answers all the telephones and basically lets everybody know what is happening. So over here, if you follow me over here, it's a bit hard to see this, so we might have to try and go through here. So much stuff on the walls. As you can see, we're promoting Riverdance. Technician's got here, and I think we can get through here. What you're about to look at here, this is the control racks. These are the things that operate the radio station, so if you'd like to take a bit of a look there. Now it's very, very difficult to try and explain, but that is the heart of the radio station. That is what operates the entire station, certainly at this end anyway. From this point on, it is then sent up to Mount Wellington and transmitted, so it gets into your stereo at home. But again, without trying to get into too much sort of complication here, there's a lot of computer operated sort of stuff there. There's digital, everything's pretty much digital these days. But you've got lights, buzzers, patch cords, and when you plug them all in, it works. So that's that. We're now in the newsroom, and this is where most of HOFM's news is collated and put together and put on air. Over there is Mick Hedger. Mick Hedger is one of our journalists. We have a team of about 3 journalists. As you can see around here, this is where the entire system is put together. As you can see, it's also computerised. It's firstly put together here via the computer system. Then after that, it comes in here, and if you'd like to follow me through here. Yeah, I might. If it's possible, have a cup of coffee if there is. Once it's actually put together in the news preparation area there, it is then broadcast from in here. This is one of our smaller studios, and as you can see, I know what I'm doing because I don't know how to turn it down. Over here again, computers again. Now if I was to step in here and roll that, it's an auto cue sort of service, pretty similar to what you'd have on a television, in a television station when a newsreader is reading from a screen in front. You'll always note that whenever Tom Payne or anybody on the ABC reads news, they very rarely look down. They're always looking ahead because that's a prompter, an auto cue sort of situation. Same here. It all comes up on the screen there, and it's done away with paper, so less trees are cut down, and it's done through this system here now. As you can see there, that's the weather for today, and today being the 30th day of October 1997. That's what the weather was going to be for today. Top today of 18, outlook for tomorrow, rain easing to a few showers, mainly fine on Saturday. But because once we get into another studio here, I'll show you exactly how everything operates. Gone are the days of tapes, gone are the days of CDs, all that sort of stuff in radio broadcasting. And gone are the days of paper in here. We do not need paper anymore because everything is there, including if you listen to our news service or any news service, you'll hear little audio cuts. They used to be played from little machines like this over here, little cart machines, but we don't utilise those anymore. Again, all via this here. When we get into one of the studios, I'll explain exactly how that operates. This is the programming department, basically, well, part of the programming department. This is where we store most of our CDs. Over on that wall over there, you'll see most of our CD collection over there. That's only most of the CD collection, and a few more up there on that wall over there. We also have an older filing system over there. Most of the stuff we have here is filed on computer, but we have the old filing system for when the computer fails, which is occasionally done. Even an old typewriter, which I use. We pretty much, radio stations in general are no different to any other working environment. I mean, you've got your office, you've got your desks, you've got your papers strewn everywhere, you've got everything that is required in a normal office is in a radio station. What you hear comes from only one small part of the radio station, that's the studios. The rest of it is generally operated as any other business would. We have salespeople, we have people who deal in management, and all that sort of stuff, so it's pretty much just a normal office atmosphere. Also, the other part that this particular room here plays is the part of promotion office as well. When you hear promotions on HOFM or any radio station, they have to be devised by somebody. So we have a promotions director in here who basically puts into place the promotions that the radio station will actually put over a period of time. They are conceived by himself and the program director and a few others, but he actually puts them into place from his office. We'll move around here now, we'll show you some old stuff. Over here we have, I guess you could say, the relics of the way the radio station used to operate. Because we now operate in a situation of everything being computerised, this is the way it used to operate about 3 or 4 years ago or earlier. They're basically cartridges. I don't know whether you can sort of zoom in on that or not, but what it basically is on here.
Tilt it a little bit, Brett.
Just there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. On there you've got a loop of tape, and that loop of tape is you could almost say it's a continuous loop of tape. It doesn't end unless you put electronic pulses on it. Now this here will still operate on air. I mean, we'd still play them on air. We don't play them on air because of the system, but it can be played. Now this particular one is an old one we've played ages ago. It's Neil Diamond's Heartlight. Now on the front, I don't know whether you can sort of focus in on that and get all that sort of stuff, but on the front it gives you all the information about what it was, what the song title, the name, how long it ran, gave the announcer all the information he required to actually play the song on air. And these days, I think the best thing is once we go into the studio and I'll explain exactly why it's so much easier now than this system was. This was a better system than playing records, much better system than playing records, but the system we have now is far better than this, so things progress in time. Come this way and I'll show you into production. What you can hear is that's Fred's own personal music collection. Fred here is our production engineer. Hello. Fred's in charge of all the commercials that you'd hear on HOFM. Certainly the sound of all the commercials you hear on HOFM is Fred's responsibility. What happens in here is we have the mixing console. Again, comes back to computers. Everything's on computer. The voice tracks, basically, you will record them on a tape over here, the 8-track over here, in the first instance. And then once they've been recorded on that, the voice track itself, it is then transferred back over onto the computer and then mixed down with CD, sound effects, anything that the ad
Summer's
happens
here,
to need.
and Leisure
Here's
Living
one
helps
going
you
now.
make the most of the warm weather with the state's biggest range of beautiful outdoor furniture of the highest quality at very affordable prices. Leisure Living specialises in aluminium, resin, steel and timber furniture in the newest styles, as well as market umbrellas. All items guaranteed. So get in early to Leisure Living, open 7 days, including 9 till 4 Saturday and 11 to 4 Sunday. Leisure Living, the corner of Murray and Melville Streets.
That's an ad that I recorded about 15 to 20 minutes ago, and now with Fred's genius, he's putting the music and the sound effects behind to make it into an advertisement. Once that has happened, once the whole thing is mixed down and into that computer there, and everything's done in this end, we go into another area out here called cartridge preparation. It's still called cart prep, even though we don't use carts, because we haven't thought of another name for it yet, so let's go and have a look at it. Cart prep, because years ago, when we were just in production a moment ago, once everything had been produced there, it was put onto a reel-to-reel rather than going onto the computer. And once it was on the reel-to-reel, it would come into here, and we'll have a look at here in just a moment, and then transferred from that reel-to-reel onto one of those carts that I just showed you a moment ago with the songs on it, so hence cart preparation. These days, however, the situation with it is that it is all computerised, and over here is Andrew Johnson. Andrew Johnson is the man who is in charge of this particular area. Andrew, you might like to explain exactly how the whole thing operates.
That was a nice pan, by the way. The name of this studio is actually written here on the screen. We do have a name for it. It's called Digital Audio Production Number 2.
Unfortunately, I was never told that.
Well, we did send a memo out about it, but obviously
It got to me.
it missed your tray. What we do here in this studio is we mainly make promos and sweepers for the station. At the moment we're making a few sweepers for the station, and we'll give you a quick listen to one. As you watch the little cursor go across the screen, this is what happens.
After hits. You could be a Buddha, baby. After hits. Everything I do, I do it for you. Mix 101 HOFM.
Look at that, there's a sneak preview, and that hasn't gone to air yet. When it does, you're the first one to hear it because it's just come fresh off the production line. Apart from that, we also take satellite feeds from this studio. It's connected up to the satellite dish. And this little machine over here, which is turned off, is called a dark machine. If we have any late material coming from agencies or Sydney or anything, we can pull it up on this machine. Instead of getting it sent via tape, it takes about 10 seconds to send it from anywhere in Australia to here. So it's very handy. And that's all I really have to add.
And the clock here says it's 5:45, and we're doing this at 10 to 12.
Another quality piece of video.
One of the things that you'll probably hear, this radio station now, most of the music mix on HOFM now is 70s, 80s and 90s. Predominantly 80s and 90s music now, so we really have sort of got ourselves into the mould of playing a lot of good current music and classics from the past. And again, as you've probably heard from that promo there, that's basically what we push. We are a very good radio station in that respect now.
And here's a demo of what we play.
Tearing me apart. All that she wants is another baby.
There you go. Summed it up in...
Summed it up in about 20 odd seconds. Okay, now what we'll do now is we'll go through to one of the main on-air studios, and that'll give you a bit of an idea of how this whole thing is actually put to air. What we have now is one of the main on-air studios. HOFM has two main on-air studios. However, by saying that, what I mean is one of them is always used on air, the other one is an auxiliary, but they can both be used identically, I mean at the same time, if we need to. Straight through there, and you can't even see her, unfortunately, because there's so much stuff on the windows. Judy Ford works from that studio in there. Again, a little difficult to see her, but she's operating the morning show as we speak to you. But I'll basically show you now what we've been talking about in so much as this digital audio. Again, because of the fact that HOFM and most radio stations around Australia and around the world indeed have gone away from the concept of carts, CDs and records, for that matter. We've now gone into to this new digital audio sort of situation. That's not to be confused with digital radio. That's a completely different thing, and something that we'll talk about probably when I'm dead. But this here, if you can sort of pan over to the computer, I'll show you basically what we have here. Now you should have a fairly good view of that at this stage. What we have here, these particular monitors are touchscreen monitors. Now if I just up there like that, now the little arrows following me around, as you can probably see there, I can move anything I like anywhere I want. For example, if I want to start this up here, I'll start this and we should hear something as soon as I...
Mix 101.
Of course, if you hit it twice, that's what happens. But that's the Cause new song, Only When I Sleep. Or I can go down to the mouse over here and operate it such as this. Just hit this over here and off it goes.
101 HOFM flashback.
Now, at any time, these particular things can be stopped and started. For example, there's David Bowie's China Girl. Now I can fade that down by clicking on. Now it'll stop everything. Coming up next here, you'll see, I don't know whether you can read it on the screen, but if you can, there's Chameleon Costumes. Now, this is a 30-second advertisement. If you can read this, it says Chameleon Costumes, 31-second ad, and Newtown Road. That is the end cue for the ad, meaning how it ends, so as the announcer knows. The announcer doesn't really need to know in this day and age, because as you can see here, as long as that's on, down there,
Chameleon Costumes, 184 Newtown Road, can make you into anything.
this will automatically roll the next ad, which in this case will be this pest control ad over here.
Perhaps you want to be Mickey Mouse, or the Little Mermaid. Or maybe you prefer something a little more grown-up, like Elvis, thank you very much, Dracula, a Viking warrior, or Captain Hook. No matter who you are, you can be someone else, whatever the occasion, whether it's a kid's party or an adult's party. Chameleon Costumes has the largest range of fancy dress and party costumes around. Chameleon Costumes Hire and Sales. That's Chameleon with a K, 184 Newtown Road.
Summer. It's great, but even summer has drawbacks.
And as you can see with that, I'll just fade that out. As you can see by that, the entire system has the ability to run everything automatically. So as if I had an entire program there, it will stop down occasionally. By stopping down, it means that after it gets to a certain point, maybe for example after the community service announcement is played here, it may stop. That's meant to be that way, so as I can announce the song there, Wallflowers, in one headlight, for example. So everything now is on this system here. Now, the other side I might mention to you too is that gone also are the days of reel-to-reel recorders, and I'll show you exactly how we record something these days. We would basically go into a recording unit over here. We'll get our recorder up and ready to go. I'll just give myself a category to, I'll call it for the heck of it, Miles 1. And load. Now I'm ready to record, and I'll show you how simple this procedure is. Make certain we can hear ourselves here, and we can, and if you want to record, it's as simple as this. You hit the recorder over here. Okay, this afternoon we are doing a videotape for Chris here, giving him a little bit of an idea of how radio operates and the general workings of a radio station. I'm recording this little piece right now, and thank you very much for listening. Then you'd stop that. You would then be able to hear it back by simply hitting the start button. Okay, this afternoon we are doing a videotape for Chris here, giving him a little bit of an idea of how radio operates and the general workings of a radio station. I'm recording this little piece right now, and thank you very much for listening. Now, for example, if I wanted to take certain aspects of that particular piece I recorded and what we call edit it, for example, if I didn't want the first piece, for example, I'll go up to the trim and tones section here, and if you watch this, I'll show you how this operates. Okay, this afternoon we are doing a videotape for Chris here, giving him a little bit of an idea of how radio operates. Now, I took a breath there, a long breath, so say if I wanted to start it at about that point there, I'd take it back to about there. I would make certain I am exactly at the start of it, which is about there. I'd set, you can actually chop and cut, you can do so much more with this than what you could with tapes. And that is done, so now it'll start at this point. And the general workings of a radio station. I'm recording this little piece right now, and thank you very much for listening. So as you can see, that there, it's made things so much easier. And if you've operated a tape deck or reel-to-reel tape before, and you're sort of familiar with splicing things together, not even remotely necessary with this system at all now. The whole thing is done pretty much on computer here now. We have naturally microphones here. We've got two of those, two Shure microphones, one for guests, one for ourselves here. This entire panel here is it's a self-explanatory sort of thing. Without this, it's very much like your mixing console in a recording studio or anywhere. We have to have faders so as you can hear things. We need monitors up here so as you can hear what's going on. We've got a couple of JBLs up there that you can hear. The chairs we operate in the studio, I don't know whether you can sort of get that, the light is a little bit dull in here, but these particular chairs are designed specifically for the comfort of the announcer, because at times announcers have to be on air for 5 to 6 hours and it's just sitting in one spot all the time, so the announcer has to be comfortable. But really, over here too, naturally, we have a CD player in case we ever have to play CDs. It is there. We've also got a video recorder under there for various things and various reasons. Over here we've got some old carts if we need to play them. I will actually play one for you to give you an idea of how it sounds. It would lock in just like that. It would come up on the desk over here and make certain we've got something on there.
Mix 101 HOFM, the 70s lunch break.
Now that's playing from that. Again, as you can probably see, there's not a lot of difference between what that does and what that does, except this is a lot easier. That particular system over there was just a very, well, yeah, as I said before, it was the way a few years ago, but it isn't now. Handy to still have it in the studio, I might add, but certainly not the way that we do business now. These studios have incoming telephone lines here, as you can probably see there. Now you can probably get a bit of an idea of how many lines come into a radio station. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 if need be. We have competition lines here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And if there was a competition running at the moment, you'd see them all lit up. And when we need to, and this will give you some sort of an idea of how we answer competitions. So as you know, we never ever ring it. If you call a number 5, for example, we'll pick up the phone. That one's ringing at the moment, so I can't do that. Assumedly, I'd answer that one. Hello, you caller 1, try again. Hello, you caller 2, try again. Hello, caller 3. Hello, caller 4, and through the system. So if you happen to be caller 5, we then would go back and grab caller 5. But generally speaking, that's about it. If you pan around the room, you'll see all the whiteboards. They basically give us a bit of an idea of what we're promoting. At Work Network, Weekend Getaway Triple Plays, Riverdance in Melbourne with Judy Ford, no repeat work days. So as the announcer on air can actually look at any of those anytime he likes and get a bit of an idea as to what to plug. But very generally, that is a radio station and a radio station studio in general. I hope that today we've given you a bit of an insight into how these places operate. Radio stations these days are smaller, but they can still do what they did years ago, except it's a smaller operation now. In HOFM itself, there's about 27 employees, and they're all a very, very happy little bunch. Years ago, it could have been bigger and bigger than that. But 27 to 28 people can usually run a radio station. Upstairs in this particular building we have our sales staff. There's about 6 or 7 sales reps. There's a sales manager. They generate the sales. They generate the advertising that keeps this radio station on air. Because it is a commercial radio station, it generates its income through commercials. And so hence we have a fairly big area upstairs. But that's about it. That's all I can offer you today. I hope I've been more than helpful in telling you exactly how all of this operates. If there's any questions or I've missed anything, you can let me know anytime you like, because I found this fascinating. Thanks very much.